So many more times, even if you feel you don't have a well-defined operation in a calling, God will gravitate you towards certain men. You cannot be too wise that your desperation for God will be hacked onto like that. God will always point you to men at diverse seasons where He will shape you foundationally, building structures upon your heart to be able to continue. Your desires and your desperation to know God cannot be answered by God. God will point you to structures, edifices that He has equipped sufficiently well. God does not build men just for fun. If God takes years to build a man, is so that He can point him as a pointer to others. You cannot be too wise to follow God without following man, because what we call God was actually trapped down upon the face of the earth by the enabling system of man. Men were the revealers of God. You can't know God until you know man. And I want to let you know that men that you see upon the face of the earth have become envoys of God. And when God chooses to hide Himself, He can only be revealed via men. And anyone that despises men that God sent to territories as angelos, they will be deprived of God. When you isolate yourself from the economy of what God is doing within the confines of men, you cannot know Him. Because that is the genesis of pride and arrogance. When you come to a point where you cannot find the system and the structure that God has designed and marked in the territory, an institution for accreditation is not possible. No matter how intellectual you are, you cannot have a university that accredits your certificate in your own house. You must subscribe to a university that has been approved by a body of truth for you to be able to be accredited to have a certification. So part of the system of the accreditation of God is to bring men, gravitate them towards certain men. And whether you like it or not, men are institution upon the face of the earth where men are accredited for the functioning of upon the face of the earth. That your calling, that your definition of what you feel that God has earmarked upon you as a passion, as a zeal, will perish if God does not point you to men. So when you see Him speaking about tribe, it's not because He's trying to bring you to a confines. No, He's trying to resonate to you the burden upon your heart. You may not know why you are gravitating towards what is going on here. It's because before time began, there was already an apportionment for this. Everyone has a territory that God has given unto him for function. And when God wants to do a thing, He shoots men to become angelos to those territories. So that anytime God wants to communicate, He writes letters through angelic beings to those territories and ensure that there is a citadel there that can represent Him. God may be everywhere, but His manifested presence are trapped by certain men that He has earmarked that responsibility. And when we speak about edifice, we speak about a structure, an architectural design where the possibilities of God are trapped. So God will pick a man in a generation and elevate him and give him the statutory right for him to be able to communicate with Him. Say, a prophet like unto me with the Most High raised, and in the days God rise such a man, anyone that did not hear him is cut off. So it's possible that in the land of Otubo, if you want to actually understand the definition of your calling, God must point you to a man named Adama. You may feel that you want to be a normal church goer, you remain a church goer forever. But when you want to begin to find the things that resonate within your destiny, you begin to hear a sound coming from somewhere. And when a sound is resounding, you have to be able to pay attention to what is the clarion call that the sound is proclaiming. It's not about the individual, it's about the sound given unto him. And we all are shaped by sound. So when God wants to create a sound uttered through creation, and everyone that hears the sound begin to gravitate, because the sound was actually the system and the tool for creation. Before the Spirit, there was a sound. And even at the tail end, God will make a sound, and only those that can hear the clarion call that come from the sound can gravitate. If you can't hear the summoning of the sound, you cannot be part of what God is doing. There is an army that God is rising, but only those that can hear the sound can gravitate. And so there is a great need for interpreters of mysteries, those that can be able to interpret the conundrum beclouding the lives of men. All the encounters and the visitations you are having, you need interpreters to be able to interpret it. If not, you will fast and pray for 21 days like Daniel, and all what you needed was interpretation. And you don't know that there is a position, a place where God has put a teaching priest to bring that interpretation. And when God has established such kind of structure for you to be able to align so that you can get interpretation to your destiny, if you deprive yourself of that light, you may never see light in darkness. Because those that sit in darkness, there is a great light that has emerged. So it's left for them to be able to be cloud and to behold the light and gravitate towards the light. And wise men will even carry their giftings and come bearing. It's not about him. It's about the thing that God is doing. And you see, this thing, you don't choose it, he chooses you. In the days when God wants to walk upon the face of the earth, he look upon the heart of man and he begin to put a burden upon them. You don't know that as you appear in edifice, you are actually in a school of the spirit. You are in a school of destiny and purpose. That after 5 years, after 10 years, the interpretation about your life will be given to you. The scrolls in keeping to your life can only be unlocked when you find yourself within this kind of architectural building structure. So you may be a drummer. As you are playing drum, you go back to lie down, an angel appear and say, last night as we were playing drum, this is the thing the Lord said I should tell you. And you wonder why. It was because you find yourself within a place referred to as edifice. In the days God want to help certain men, they were weak, they were feeble, they were downcasted, they were, all of them were in debt. They had nothing to be reckoned about their lives. They were not men in the society referred to as men of strength, but they gathered before David in a cave called Adullam, and they don't know why they found themselves there. It's not about David, it's about their destiny. And suddenly when they were there, the God that helped David came and helped them. And after a while, in the days of reckoning, say, these are the mighty men of David. How did they become mighty men? Because they gathered by an edifice, because there was a place of building. They had to leave the location where they are to gravitate towards where God is. God does not build everywhere. God has a place of building, and only wise men can decipher that corridor and appear there. Why do you leave your house and go to a school to be accredited? You must understand that there is also a school in the spirit, and God does that in every territory, in every region. I present to you an institution. If you are wise, the least you can give is a school fees. Paying school fees doesn't mean you will graduate. So just because you came here doesn't mean you graduate. You must put yourself upon the crucible of the school in the spirit. Be faithful in assignment, be faithful in tests, be faithful in attendance. And after a while, you wake up one day and you realize that everything regarding the scrolls regarding your life is unlocked. Jesus said, lo, I come in the volumes of the book as it is written about me. Because there is a volume of the books as written about you, but it can never be laid down to you until you appear in a region. As wise as Jesus could be, he has to come under certain tutors and mentors for him to be built. An heir different not from a slave, so long as he's a child. He has to come under tutors and mentors to be equipped. So when God gravitates you towards a direction here, it's not because of man worship. No, it's about your life. When God is interested with you, the least he can do for you is to bring a burden and put it upon you, so that you come and bear the burden. So that in the days when a man named David is weak, he can send certain mighty men. God has looked upon the land of Otubo and he's seen that there is darkness that be cloud. So let me raise a voice. And in the days God wants to raise a voice, is establish structures, because every great man have other structures by him, and those structures are part of the epicenters that understand the operation of what God is doing. Because what God is doing cannot be contained by a man, so God established other structure. And that's why, as powerful as God is, God have 24 elders by him, so that the dimension of him can be incubated and can be cultured by other men.